If you're trying to just grow your clientele base, then you're thinking of building a community on social media, using e-newsletters, sending quarterly and annual reports out or briefs. Because of the transient nature of social media, weekly and daily updates, announcing funds raised, announcing new clients can get missed, by those you need to see them. But is there a document that summarizes some of your key achievements for the year or for the quarter that a would-be partner or stakeholder can read through, better understand and appreciate what you're trying to do? And then with the tech industry, you find out that the emphasis is placed more around the amount of money that has been raised, Series A, Series B, Series C, and all of that. What about the improvements that are being made on the product? You hardly hear about the improvements past the MVP. You hardly hear about the diversification, pivoting, the new ideas, the things that have been done to improve that particular startup since they first launched or they first stepped out into the market. It's more about the funds raised, and that in itself is distracting. That in itself puts unnecessary pressure on the founders. That in itself sometimes even sends the wrong message, and that in itself gets the tax man after you.
Now, you mentioned a communication professional, but a lot of startups will say that they're just starting, they don't have money to hire one.
I would say that it's the same way a startup will say they can't afford legal fees, right? They can't afford auditors. They can't afford professional services in general. They even can't afford talent most times. But the essence of an ecosystem is such that you have various service providers. You have lawyers, communication professionals, auditors, accountants, bankers, and I'm not saying those who charge ridiculous interest rates, but those who can provide finance in the way finance should be provided, for entrepreneurship or an enterprise development. So in an ecosystem, you have all of these people, and the job of the startup, if you would call what we have an ecosystem, is really to tap into all the services. So affordability will always be an issue, but I'm sure that there are ways to work around it. The same way an ecosystem should have researchers and the academia actively working hand in hand, which was a reason that Google gave for setting up the IA Academy in Ghana, for instance, strong academic institutions because of research and innovation, so that tomorrow you can say, Mr. Startup, in the next 10 years, you're not going to be here based on the empirical data that we have, based on trends, based on digital and social innovation. So I'm not sure I have the appropriate answer, but I would say that value attracts value. So if a startup really appreciates the value that communication and storytelling brings or adds to that enterprise or that business, I'm sure they can work an arrangement or a partnership with such communication professionals.
So, Emilia, looking at all the challenges that you have mentioned, what is your organization doing to ensure that you solve some of them?
So we work through three major areas: content, talent, and resources. And we do resources because we understand that we cannot work for everybody. However, we can share, we can point you in the direction, we can provide you with information as to the resources that are available for you to use, whether or not you engage us at the end of the day. So that's what we're doing. Secondly, we're working a lot on research and data because we realize that there's really a paucity, dearth. These are understated words that describe how blindly we're all groping, in the dark. You don't have that information, you don't have empirical evidence, you don't have data, we're just going. So we're doing a lot of work on data and research because that's really what fuels content, especially in the digital space. So in the next few months and years, we will roll out a number of products and services that just help people understand. Don't just provide a service, for instance, a banking service. You should be thinking about what would banking services look like in 5-10 years, as you mentioned. What would the social media landscape look like in 5-10 years? We're not as futuristic, in my opinion, as we should be.
Well, I think we've been on Tech today.
Thank you.
I've been chatting with Emilia Asim-Ita, founder AML Practice. She believes that startups should cut the hype and focus on storylines that communicate the real essence of their brand. One key takeaway is for startups to ensure they find better ways to engage professionals who can help them do a better job communicating their value. That's where we draw the curtain on this edition of the show. But the conversation continues online. Please join us there. Remember, you can watch these and previous editions of the show on the Channels TV YouTube account or via my blog cfatech.ng. For Tech Trends, I'm Chukwemeka Agbata.